Hello and welcome to another episode of the Everyday Legends podcast. I'm your host, Mike Campbell, and today I'm going to bring you a punchy solo episode with really one simple message, let's say, and that is you have enough time. Relationship to time, I don't have enough time, don't have enough time in the day, wish I had more time. Those types of things and the cousins and relatives of that are things that I hear a lot for men. And this happens in many different areas and times and stages of life as well, including, for example, men who are exploring coming into this work. Let's say they're chatting with me and exploring come into the Everyday Legends Academy, and they might look at their life, and one of their big challenges, one of the things that brings us to our conversation is I'm flat out. I'm busy. I don't have enough time. I'm trying to find time here. I can't find time to do this. I get to the gym. I can't find the time to do that. And, even to work on myself or, I can't find the time. I'm working and then I get home and there's kids, maybe, whatever your situation is. And by the way, I've heard so many variations of that. And that's men who have, 4 or 5 kids and run a business and, have, they co-parent. So let's say there's this other dynamic, maybe, or they're married, or all the way down to, and when I say down, I mean just in terms of like literal demands, dudes who are 25 or 30 and they're single and they have a job that's fairly, let's call it 9 to 5, and they don't have all those other demands. All the way up, let's say, to other people who don't have work. Perhaps they're retired, but they're still busy. I'm busy all the time. I'm busy. I don't have enough time. I'm busy. Let me say this. It is the easiest fucking thing in the world to be busy. Fuck off with busy, please. Said with love. It is the easiest thing in the world to be busy. I've spoken about this in different contexts and different podcasts, but one thing that happens in my experience, working with hundreds and hundreds of men, talking with many more, is that we can become very good at making a noise within ourselves, to drown out the voice of who we really are, of our values, of what is really meaningful to us. And we become busy. Talked about it recently. I get obsessed with politics or sport or any number of things, whatever it is. Those things aren't bad or pointless in isolation, not at all. But if they become the majority of your life and who you are, then there's no substance. And we take those away, we enter into a gap. Who the fuck am I without those things? It's so easy to value things or place value on things. I have to do that. And so what we do is we place importance on things. This thing. But if we really look at your life, we might be able to, let's say, run a little bit of an audit on all the things that you apply your time and energy to, and then run them through a filter, let's say, of like legit importance. And what we can often see is like, oh, I'm making that thing important. And this thing that I want to be important, I'm not allowing myself to make it important. And so one of the most disempowering pieces of language, I should say, that I hear from men is this idea of, I need to find time. I can't find the time. I was having a conversation with a client of mine in the Zeus Inner Circle recently, Mark. I love him, and I can, I can take the piss a little bit. We have a wonderful relationship, and he was talking about his life, and he runs a company, and it's full on, and in terms of the demand of work they have and the amount of resources they have in terms of team and staff, it's often quite stretched. And he ends up copping a lot of the overflow, let's say. So he's very stretched a lot of the time. He's also a new father, and so his partner is currently full-time looking after their little one, a few months old. He's wanting to spend more time with her and the bubba. He's wanting to spend more time doing things that he enjoys that involve relaxation, etc. And then we were having a conversation around this, and he said to me, you know what? Yeah, I know. I just need to find the time to fill in the blank. Because as soon as he said that, I missed whatever he said next. And I was like, stop. You're not going to find the time. There's no time hiding somewhere that I need to go find it. The time exists. It only ever comes down to what you choose to do with the time. Telling yourself I need to find time, I wish I could find time, or anything like that is so disempowering. It's hoping that time pops up and say, hi, I'm here, and just appears for you. What this is inviting us to do, what I invited this gentleman to do, was to choose to prioritize the time. And that's not a new concept. Time management really is about priority management, energy management. What are you giving a fuck about? What do you want to give a fuck about? What is important? What has to stay important? And what isn't necessarily important that you've been making important that you can fuck off or deprioritize or hand off to someone else or set boundaries around and say no to. I'm not doing that task anymore. I can't do that thing, whatever that thing is. Often through a lot of this, for a lot of men that I deal with, is an inability or a real challenge to set boundaries and say no to things. And so that I'm stretched all the time. And I might say, I'm stretched all the time. I wish I could say no. But if I don't allow myself to say no, if I'm terrified of upsetting people and people being pissed off at me or not liking me because I've said no or I've potentially rejected them, and so therefore I don't want their rejection, I will never allow myself to do it. If I'm stuck behind this idea that I need to find time like it's sitting at the end of a fucking rainbow, I will never move towards creating more space in my life. And I will keep creating that situation. If I am terrified of actually sitting with myself and visiting or being visited by all of me, including my demons and the shit that comes in to moments of space, I will never create it. As I said before, many men are great at making a noise or drowning out our fears, our insecurities, the shit that we haven't faced before, and we become busy. And then we glorify it. And as a community, as a society, we have glorified busyness. Fuck off with your busy. As I said, it is the easiest thing in the world to be busy. I don't care about busy. Show me productive. And even then, let's not glorify productivity as it's the only thing too. Show me productivity and space, joy, relaxation. Smell the roses. Just don't live in the bush. For many men who have this set of patterns, behaviors, and general results in their life, there's often a fear that if I step off the throttle for a bit, I'll be left behind. Or all of a sudden, what, am I just going to be lazy and not give a shit about anything? No. More so, this is inviting us to be honest with ourselves. If I actually wasn't so busy and I created space, what would come into that space in terms of my thoughts and feelings? How would I feel about that? What am I actually making a noise to kind of block from coming in? What we're looking at here in a fundamental, foundational level is your relationship to time. And I can tell you right now, having worked with hundreds of men about this exact topic, more often than not, our relationship to time is indicative of and a result of a relationship to self. But time becomes the whipping boy. No longer does time get to be the whipping boy for your own insecurities, sense of self, self-worth, and all the other shit that comes along with that. Address your relationship to time as you address your relationship to self. Because when words like finding time, disempowering, I haven't got enough time, I wish I had more time, wasn't enough time today, didn't get enough done, wish I had more time. Often that's telling us that I feel like I need to achieve more, so then I feel like I am enough. And if any of that resonates, let me tell you, it's incredibly common, fucking common. And it'll keep running your life until you choose to dig in and do something about it. You might not know how to do something about it. So find people who can support you in this. We have programs, self-led. We have considerable, significant, powerful group coaching programs that work on this. Not necessarily, here's a subject on relationship to time. In ELA, we don't have that as a module, but we are always fundamentally working on the foundation of relationship to self. With things like time, money, parents, etc., will come into that. Your relationship to your body, reflection of self. You will never find time. It's not hiding somewhere. It is always about what you are valuing, what you are placing importance on, and what you choose to do with your time. Gentlemen, that's all the time I've got today. I think there's plenty in there for you. Enough, you might say. And if this is tapping you on the shoulder pretty hard and you're like, cool, I'm just going to end this one and move on to the next one, I encourage you to not do that and instead sit, reflect, create space in your life. Here's a really simple exercise that you can do that I give every man that comes into my coaching program, into the world of the Everyday Legends Academy. And that is, for a period of 6 months, a long fucking time, every day, not some days, not kind of, every fucking day, you are going to create space somewhere, 15 minutes, where you are going to sit and be. Not do something, not walking, not driving in the car. You're doing something. You're going to sit and be with your thoughts and feelings. No music on, no nothing. Sit and be alone. Create space. See what comes in there. You might be terrified of it. You might see all the things that come up, the stories, the things that are important. You've got to make this important. I can tell you so many reasons why to do this. But if you can commit to it first and then come back to me, even in a month, and tell me what you learned about yourself, what you noticed, what that created for you, I can assure you it will create some shifts, some awarenesses, and some little perhaps prompts to take action in your life. All right? Let me know how this lands. Let me know that you're doing this and how you go with it. All right? That's our show. As always, appreciate you being here. Appreciate your feedback, your support, your reviews, wherever you get podcasts, especially on Apple, because you can leave reviews there. Until next time, that's our show.